got into public office, I've been very upfront. We will probably never agree on 100% of the issues. I don't even agree with my husband on 100% of the issues, even though I'm always right, and he knows that. But the sign outside my door in Washington, D.C. says representative. And so it is my job and my privilege to do the best job that I can to best represent the majority views of our district. And while we might not always agree, know that our doors are always open. We have offices in Flushing and Forest Hills, and obviously in Washington, D.C., so do not ever hesitate to let us know your thoughts or your concerns or your issues. Also want to note that there are interpreters for some language. If you need an interpreter, please raise your hand, or if you notice that someone might need one, please raise your hand and we will provide them as well. We have some of our federal agencies represented upstairs right at the main entrance, and we also have caseworkers from my office who are stationed right outside this door. Feel free to approach them if you have any questions. I know that not everyone will feel comfortable asking a question that might be sensitive or personal in nature. And so basically, I just wanted to provide this opportunity for all of us to have a dialogue. I'm in Washington, D.C. a lot during the week, and so I'm not always able to be back here, and wanted to make sure that folks know that our office is accessible. For those of us who haven't met before, I'll give you a brief background. I was born and raised in Queens, New York, lived in Elmhurst, Flushing, and Bayside for all of my life. My parents came to this country in the early 70s. My dad worked at a restaurant for most of our childhood, and later on they became restaurant small business owners themselves. Never thought about going into politics. I was never that interested in politics. I never took a political science class. I never ran for student government or anything like that. But I realized soon that during college and law school that even the average person, the average young person, there is so much that you can do to be helpful to your community and to help folks around you. You don't need to be wealthy and successful. You don't have to have a fancy degree, but everyone has the ability to be helpful and to improve the lives of people around you. And so I got involved in politics. I didn't know a thing about politics, like I said. I knew that I was a newish lawyer. I knew that I wanted to do better to help improve the lives of those in my community. I didn't know much about politics, but I thought that I could do a good job. Long story short, I ran for the New York State Assembly, the New York State Legislature. I ran against the Queens County Democratic Party, and then didn't make it the first time. The second time I made it. A few years later, I ran for Congress, and here I am. Fast forward 6 years. So I've been in Congress for about 6 years, and it's been 7, I can't count, sorry John. All those stereotypes about Asians. But it's such a privilege to represent our district in Washington, D.C. I started, when I first got to Congress, my committees were Small Business and Foreign Affairs. Recently, I became a member of the House Appropriations Committee, which, as you know, funds all the government agencies and programs. There are lots of priorities. Every single day is a different topic in our office. We work on many different issues. Some of the issues that are near and dear to my heart are children's issues. I'm a mom of 2 young kids, ages 9 and 11. My 2 boys attend our local Queens public schools, and education, their health, their safety of our next generation is really important to me. We started a bipartisan kids safety caucus so that we could work more on issues that affect our children and our families. And this goes from anything from safety issues to less chemicals in our food and products to basic clean water and clean air for our children to breathe. This, to me, as a parent, is one of the most upsetting things, that we have places, not just in Flint, but right here in New York and in New Jersey, where our kids don't have clean water to drink. And it's a top priority of mine to help be a part of the team in Congress, and all of us. It's going to take all of us to help fix this problem. Immigration is a real issue in our country right now, regardless of where you fall, whether you believe that immigrants should be allowed to be here with undocumented status or not. We are the country where the Statue of Liberty stands in our harbor, and we need to make sure to fight for more humane policies and to defend so many people in our country. All of us are immigrants. Unless you are a Native American, all of our families immigrated to this country for a better life. And so it is our job and our duty to make sure that we are helping to provide those opportunities, especially for so many who are literally fleeing for their lives back at home. Small business is another important issue. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy, especially here in Queens. That's why I worked with Queens College and CUNY to help allocate funding for a small business development center, which is actually right across the street on Casina. One of the first things that I noticed when I came into this office is that other congressional districts have small business help centers, but ours didn't. There was one at York College, there was one at LaGuardia, and in true CUNY fashion, they were tremendous partners and worked for so many years so that we could establish one right here in our district. This is a center where people, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are thinking about starting a business, whether you have problems with your existing small business, you should feel free to go to this center, free of help, and they have multiple languages spoken as well. Veterans are another top issue that many people approach our office about. We have, I think, once a month, and it's by appointment because it's so popular, people should feel free to call our office. We have someone from the VA come to our office so that it is easier for a veteran not to have to travel far to an inconvenient facility. But if they have any questions, they should feel free to call our office and to make an appointment so that they can stay right here in the district and to help resolve their issues or get their benefits. Census is an incredibly important issue coming up in just a few months. Many of you might know that I fought hard against the potential inclusion of a citizenship question on the census, and whether you agree with me or not, it is still vitally important for all of us to spread the word about the census. Last time in New York State, we had an undercount in this state. We lost 2 congressional seats and likely billions of dollars in federal funding to our local programs, which include schools, libraries, infrastructure, hospitals, etc. So there is someone outside from the census. He asked that, or he's a very hardworking man today, right there in the back. They are asking that you stop by their table, find out more information about the census, and I believe they are hiring as well, so feel free to go up to them. You know what, I could go on and on about all the important issues that Congress needs to work on, but that would take up 3 hours, so I won't. I want to make sure that we save room for questions. But, you know, I'm not going to go through this because I want to have time to talk to all of you. But I really wanted to thank you all for being here today. For those of you who can make it, or for those of you who know people who might not have been able to make it today, please feel free to let them know that they can call our office anytime. I'm like a mobile office. I am always happy to come to your, Sandra knows this, apartment building. I'm happy to come to your workplace. Won't stalk you, don't worry. But I want the opportunity outside your subway stop, your bus stop. We will come, we travel. We want to come to people where they are so that people feel the most comfortable in accessing your federal government, your taxpayer dollars at work. So thank you so much again for being here. I want to open it up for Q&A or for, you're allowed to make statements, but I think we have to keep it under 1 minute. But feel free to ask questions.